Welcome back to the weekend wrap. No production, just my thoughts. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It is appreciated. I'm not going to be on here for too long. This is actually going to be a very short one. I usually don't upload these as early as this, but I'm up due to illness. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, so I ain't trying to be talking for 20-30 minutes like normal. We had the card for Natasha Jonas versus Michaela Mayer. I have seen the undercard now. I did catch up on it, but to be totally honest, it's not really worth talking about. All I will say is I got all my predictions right this week. The only one which I didn't get the method spot on was Jack Cullen and Zach Chelli. I did predict that Zach Chelli would win the fight, but I predicted, I think it was split decision or majority decision, whereas he actually got a unanimous. So yeah, congrats to him. Outside of that, I got all the others except maybe the Ellison one, Mickey Ellison. I'm not sure if I predicted that to be a stoppage or a distance. I can't remember. But yeah, look, we're not here to talk about the undercard because it wasn't a great event. A lot of the January cards usually aren't, just because you kind of have people coming back from Christmas and whatnot, and you don't necessarily get the strongest of talents wanting to come through on the on these earlier cards. But the main event is ultimately what people tuned in for, and it was a very good main event. So look, let's address the elephant in the room in this one. The scorecards read Natasha Jonas 96-94, Michaela Mayer 97-93, and then Natasha Jonas 96-95 for a split decision win. Exactly what I predicted, and I scored the fight 6-4 to Natasha Jonas. So I feel pretty vindicated in that. I mean, I don't really feel like you had to like look for rounds to give Natasha. I scored the fight live. I was watching it on TV in real time, same as everyone else. I've got my scorecards on Twitter X, as you guys can quite easily see, and I'll happily post that if anyone else needs it. But the way I look at it, right, I scored it the first round to Jonas. I scored the second round to Jonas. I scored the third round to Jonas. I scored the fourth round to Michaela Mayer. I scored the fifth round to Jonas. I scored the sixth round to Mayer. Then I scored the seventh round for Mayer. I scored the eighth round for Jonas. The ninth round for Mayer. And then, the ninth round for Jonas. And then the 10th round for Mayer. So I had it 6-4. Now, here's my thing. If someone comes to me and says that Michaela Mayer won that fight, or nah, she clearly did more, she dominated or whatever, okay. I mean, I'm not really in the business. I'm not going to argue with you with an opinion as such. Like, it is what it is. More time, I want to have an interaction with people that actually show a scorecard. Like, if you're doing the same thing as me on TwitX, and like I can see your round by round scoring for what you gave who, cool, we can have a debate. For instance, I know Julius Ring IQ, he does that. He gave his entire card for how he saw the fight, so I could have a dialogue with him. If someone's gonna tell me, oh no, Michaela won that, but then when I ask you, okay, well, what rounds, and like, well, I didn't score it, but she clearly won that. Okay, so me and you've got nothing to talk about because you've already lost credibility right there. Remember, every fight is an individual fight, is each individual round. There's a lot of times where someone might win the story of a fight, but they're not winning the rounds. And the only time winning the story of a fight works is if you end up scoring a knockout, which Michaela Mayer didn't, and neither did Natasha Jonas. That's how I see it. Now, again, if someone says to me that Michaela won that fight, cool, all right. If they say that Jonas won that fight, yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but cool. Anyone who tells me that it's a robbery, no, we're not going to have a conversation, because a robbery is Jackson Mariñez against Rolly Romero. A robbery is Emmanuel Rodriguez against Raymark Caballo. A robbery is Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall. Like those are clear cut robberies. A robbery is Teofimo Lopez versus Sandor Martin. Although maybe not as egregious, but there was a knockdown that wasn't even called in that fight. Or you got George Kambosos versus Maxi Hughes. That is definitely more akin to robbery territory than this was. This was just a close fight. There's a lot of rounds where Michaela had much higher work rate and activity, but she was missing a lot of her shots. Some were maybe grazing. The most effective work she did was to the body. I give her big props for that, but she missed a lot of shots. Natasha Jonas was on the back foot for a lot of it, countering on the back foot, walking Michaela into shots. Yeah, Michaela was also probing forward and throwing a lot of shots, so similar to Joe Joyce in some aspects, but she was getting countered. She was keeping her head on the line. She was getting her head snapped back from hard exchanges. She won some of them, she lost some of them. So it depends on, did the ones that she win outweigh the severity of the ones that she lost? That's how you have to look at it. Now, for me, the answer is no. But if you saw my card, you would also see that even some of the rounds that I gave to Natasha, I've said, Michaela's starting to build up a head of steam now. So Natasha's going to have to do something in the next round to quell that, whether it's a hard shot here or she's going to have to nullify and negate her work. So I was clearly cognizant of the fact that Michaela may have, while she may not be winning those rounds, in my opinion, she's starting to snowball. And if Natasha Jonas doesn't, basically quell that or do something to adjust her game plan to stop that momentum, she could get steamrolled towards the back half of the fight. And the back half of the fight is where Michaela may have had her best work, and where her engine and her gas tank was clearly the stronger of the two, even though they were both, sort of basically blowing a gasket towards the end. In the lead up to this, I was concerned about how Michaela Mayer would handle the extra weight in her first fight at that size. I said that I've got a feeling that she might be slower, be ploddy. Maybe she won't be able to last the distance, even though she normally has a good work rate. Her work might start to get a bit frenetic and impulsive and a bit sort of all over the place, just because she's tired. And to me, that did kind of play out towards certain parts of the back half of the fight. So, look, again, if you think that Michaela Mayer won, I'm not going to argue with you, because it was a very close fight. It most certainly could have gone her way. I saw it to Natasha Jonas. Yes, I predicted Jonas to win beforehand, but that has no bearing on my card. And that's also one thing I always have an issue with, is if I score something different to you, or I believe something happened another way, like the one thing that really annoys me if someone says, oh, I'm just biased to someone else, or I was scoring in bad faith or something like that. I assure you, I'm probably one of the least biased people when it comes to scoring a fight. There's been many a time I've wanted someone to win and I scored the fight against them. Many of you might remember that when I was at the Alicia Baumgardner and Michaela Mayer fight, Shields and Marshall, I wanted Alicia Baumgardner to win above all else. But when I was in the arena, from the angle that I was at, from what I could see, I gave the fight to Michaela Mayer. When I got home and saw it on the TV, I said, oh, actually, no, Alicia definitely won that. But that's me, someone that I genuinely really like. And I scored against them in the heat of the moment from the vantage point that I had. Whereas, there's been many other times where I've said, I picked this person to win, but nah, they didn't get it for me. Or yeah, the other person won that. Or if they don't get the decision, I'll be very surprised. And that happens numerous times. So yeah, anyone that would label me as bias or anything like that, or questioning my integrity, yeah, that's where we can't really rock after that. So yeah, look, outside of that, I'm pretty much gonna leave it there. I got it right. Clearly, I mean, I must know what I'm looking at because I saw the same thing that two of the judges saw. And anyone going with the narrative of, oh well, if it was in the States, Michaela would have won quite clearly. I mean, maybe. I'm not even gonna say you're wrong, but all I know is the American judge scored it for Natasha Jonas. So clearly he must have seen some of the same things that I saw. The CompuBox stats don't always tell the full story either. I get it, yeah, maybe she did outland her in 7 of the 10 rounds, but that doesn't always necessarily mean that you won. I mean, there's always an argument of landing 10 jabs versus 3 power punches, what carries more weight? Or landing 3 headshots versus 7 body shots. Like, which one is rated higher? It just depends on, I guess, the reaction, the effectiveness, the cleanliness of each shot. It is what it is. Like, all scoring is subjective because there isn't a concrete criteria. But yeah, Natasha Jonas won. Congratulations to Natasha. That's how I had it. That's how I saw it playing out, and that's ultimately how it did play out. Is there going to be a rematch? I doubt it. I don't think. I think Natasha might get a Jessica McCaskill fight. Apparently she's a free agent right now. Or she's probably going to get quote unquote fed to Lauren Price. And that's where I see kind of things moving forward for her. She already said she probably won't be in the sport past this year. So I guess they're going to do that passing of the torch at some point there. Yeah, in terms of the event was shit. I'm gonna be totally honest. Box are in trouble at the moment, and yeah, let's see how they sort of bounce back, and let's see what Buatsi versus Aziz yields for us. But look, I'm gonna get off. I'm surprised I haven't coughed this entire time, so I guess I thank the Lord for that. But yeah, look, like, subscribe, and share. Again, go in the comments. If you think Michaela won, all good. If you go in there saying it was a robbery, I'm not responding to you. It's that simple. But yeah, otherwise, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.